everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, where this is ActionX's premiere show where we talk about everything relating to TV, whether that is reviewing TV shows by an episode-by-episode basis, reviewing every season of a show, or doing a quick impression. Today you are watching a quick impression. We are reviewing, well, I'm giving my quick impressions, a small reviewing, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And oh my god, I had to double check. 156 episodes of this show. And I haven't reviewed Spectacular Spider-Man yet. Just how? No. But anyway, here it is. After I'm much delayed, I'm gonna do it. Let's talk about it. I rewatched it. I want to say around January. I know it was the new year. I remember that. It was December, January. I binged it recently because there was just an itch in my stomach to do it. Because it's not that long. It's only 26 episodes. And I still hailed it. It's in my top 10 series of all time. When I did that special last year, Spectacular Spider-Man so far remains the best Spider-Man animated show that has ever been created. It is a damn shame it was canceled because of corporations, and I am so saddened they didn't get to finish telling their story. Like, I can't even, like, I don't even know how to describe or even to start to explain how really damn good this show is. Like, every episode is perfect. It is so hard to get that right. It is, because the thing is that when anything with source material, every writer, every creator, every team is going to have their own different interpretation. And again, but it's so weird how so well they did it. In this case, where they took the character, it's not a proper origin story per se. And also, if you're unaware, with a quick impressions, I don't spoil anything beyond the first episode / basic fact. If you don't know Spider-Man origin story by this point, between 3 separate movie franchises, multiple anime shows, and a ton of comic books, that's on you. I'm sorry. Spider-Man, even Kevin Feige said, like, by this point in modern times, Spider-Man's origin story should be a one-on-one. Everyone should know it. They don't need to spend time on it anymore, which he does have a fact. So I'm going to follow that opinion. So I'm sorry. So if I spoil Spider-Man's origin story, that's not my fault. But the fact is that in this iteration, we skip that point. We go straight into, like, it's not a year 2 story. It's not a Devin established Spider-Man. This is something that, like, we're out of the learning curves with the powers, and we go straight into him forming his roster of supervillains. And even the ones we didn't even, like, get to, it's such a damn shame, but the ones that we did get, like, especially episode 1's Vulture, it's like, wow, it was so exciting to get to see the first interaction, where I think it's on the same level for me as Spider-Man on PS4, the Sony exclusive line, where it's like, with that case, I love the character, the interpretation of that world, all the villains. I loved all that. I would have loved to see even especially in Miles Morales, when we hear, like, stories of Peter's past, and even in the first game, like, we start hearing it, like, well, I would love to see that. I would very much love to see the story behind those meetings. And here in Spectacular, we actually get to see at least this interpretation of Spider-Man, his first interaction with all these villains and also these characters, and then everything is you know as expected or stuff that you don't expect, so to speak, and how much everything works so fluently. Like, the connective tissue that they form is like, one episode might reference something, or they pop in something that will come into play in a later episode. And then there's cases where it's like, certain episodes continue from the last one exactly where it left off, and it's like, you never know what to expect. But what they give you is something that you honestly really, really wanted. And in the case of me, like, I wanted everything. Like, this show was absolutely god-tier perfect. And it still has the time, like, because, again, Peter's still learning the journey. He's still learning the story, which it makes me incredibly sad we didn't get to see more of it. Like, we only went up to the spring portion we were about to come to the 1-year anniversary of when he got his powers, and that would have been an amazing season had we seen it. The show only had 26 episodes, 2 seasons. It's a damn shame when you get that. It's a damn freaking shame. But the thing that I give this show a lot of credit, and I'll get to the characters in just a moment, is that for me, the animation style they used was perfect. The voice cast, every actor. Also, shout out to Josh Keaton, who played Spider-Man in this interpretation, or Peter Parker. He did such a great job, phenomenal job. I think he's one of my top 5 overall Peter Parker performances of all time, which isn't saying much. And I'm putting in the 3 Spider-Man live action actors and him and also Yuri. So it's not even that much of a big list. And obviously, respect to everyone who's ever voiced him, including Neil Patrick Harris, Christopher Dan Barnes, all those amazing people. But Josh did something that's something still like. I think way before Yuri came around, like every time I would read anything Spider-Man comic related, which wasn't that much, it was just maybe the Ultimate line, I would imagine him as, I would hear his voice. Like, it's just so perfect. Like, the comedic tones, the performance, and then sometimes he has to, when he's in Peter Parker mode, he has to deliver some emotional lines. He did such a great job. And I cannot commend him enough. As well as, yeah, everyone else in the main cast, like, and even the show plays with your expectations. Like you think this one's gonna happen, then something else happens, and then it turns out no, you were actually right. It was just a much more convenient play. If you already seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just so damn smart. Like I really want to see what they would have done with season 3. Like it hurts me so much that can never be the case. And I'll give a brief explanation to why that didn't happen. But before I do that, I'll get to the characters itself. So I'm only talking about the characters in the first episode. Anything beyond that is like, and obviously some miscellaneous stuff I'll mention. Obviously our main star Peter Parker. This is obvious. I think it's the most the most perfect balance between a kid that's trying to be a superhero as well as a kid trying to be a kid, and also trying to grow up. I get Peter Parker. When we see him in the first episode, he's very much still in that very novice mindset. He's going to use his new abilities to kind of give him the advantage he's going to finally need in high school. Because when he got his powers, it was towards the end of the school year, so he never had it full time. And he also sought to master it and gain the confidence, so that when we come back to him in September, where we start up the show, we haven't seen that that edging it out yet. Like he knows he can't show his powers, but he can still like start to. He wants to start using it to get him a little bit of more of an edge. And then in that first episode, which is a case of like, just because you have these newfound abilities doesn't mean everything's going to go your way nowadays. No, it's not. You still have a lot of trials and tribulations to go to because, and the moral of the message is still here true when it comes to superheroism, is that when you wear a mask for a reason. Again, that comes with the play with the dynamic between J. Jonah Jameson, who, in other iterations that I know of, there is another subconscious reason to it, but obviously, of course, the theory is, why do they keep their masks? Why do superheroes put their masks on and stuff like that? Why can't they reveal their identity publicly? It's because of the sake he needs to protect the people he cares about. Because there is a point later on where that lesson comes into, not into like a risk, but definitely comes into the play of like, this could happen, and thankfully it didn't, but it's very much a risk that he has to protect everyone. He's not going to always be around everyone at the same time to protect them, and that something can happen. So he has to keep that in check, and we start to see that slowly, thoroughly in the episodes, and then we start to see him like be more aware of that and start to be a little bit more like he's not the same Peter Parker before the powers. Like he definitely can't be anymore because he ditched the glasses, he ditched the whole nerd attire. But when he eventually got to back to September, and then eventually a little bit more onward, he had that balance where it's like he's not so much higher up, but he's not as low as he was before on the popularity scale, on that's sort of like in the social scale, so to speak. But then when he becomes Spider-Man, it's like, oh my god, the quips are so fucking funny. The what he does, like it's oh my god, I just love his, and also that spider suit. It is simplistic, I get that, but it's like and it also helps with the animations. Like the animation style they picked was so perfect, and then I can't imagine that suit they use in any other media. Like that suit was just made for this animation style, and it was so perfect. Gwen Stacy. Here's the thing. Like by that point in time, I didn't know Gwen Stacy that well as a character. When I watched it live for the first time, I know her besides Spider-Man 3 and maybe Spider-Man the Animated Series. So like my knowledge, no, she wasn't in Spider-Man. I'm thinking of Felicia. Sorry. So I only knew her from Spider-Man 3. So I honestly did not know for the life of me who is Gwen Stacy. And obviously I was very well aware of like famous comic book arcs, and I think by that point the Ultimate Spider-Man arc about her just came out, so I was aware of her. I didn't know her fully, and this interpretation was something that was sweet and innocent, and then and then eventually she's just caught in. She's like the innocent one caught up in this factor of like so much stuff happening around her, where one of her best friends is a superhero. Her other best friend has a lot of other problems that he gets to later on, and then while those two kind of rise up on the sociability scale, like her best friend, she's kind of still stuck in that same rut. But in her core, she's still the same human being. She's that's nice, and she's a friend. And it's like, oh my god, this is like. I think in season 2 when Peter had actually no, I can't spoil, but the stuff happens later on, and it's like it becomes more apparent that like, oh my god, like I was so stuck on Team MJ. I mean, I should have been on Team Gwen, especially when you got to the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and like, oh man, that dynamic was hot. It was hot, but we're not talking about that. But I don't know why about Harry Osborn. Like, there's something about the Osborns, like the hairstyle that never really like especially Norman's, and then I'm thinking of the other one, but their hairstyle is always somewhat short. I can't imagine. I can only just imagine James Franco's hair. I can't imagine anyone else. But Harry is he goes for a journey. There's a lot about him that we don't get much of him in the first episode, so there's not much to say. But the storyline they put him through is like an up and down roller coaster, and I think he's the tragic character of the story, where it's like he's always the one that's somehow getting affected negatively at some point or another. And who else was in the first episode? Oh yeah, Norman Osborn. It's like it's so weird how like you look at Norman and you obviously know like, oh, he's a bad guy, oh, he's bad, oh, he's very bad, and he's a dick, and he's like, yeah, I could easily see him as a supervillain. It's like, yeah, it's obvious that like, yeah, he is, but you hope to God like maybe he is a decent person. Then I can't say more. If you've seen the movies, you understood what the hell I'm talking about. But I think that's all the characters I can mention. I mean, but I just love the world. That's the thing. And yeah, we do get MJ. We got Flash Thompson later on. We get the Daily Bugle crew, another amazing J. Jonah Jameson actor in the animation medium. Oh my god, that freaking actor was so good. I love him so much. I get why did they cancel this show? Why? Also, I'm looking at the clock because I gotta go start Rookie soon. I still got time. Don't worry. But no, I just love the show so damn much, and it's like the only reason that the show got canceled was not because of low ratings. I'm pretty sure reception was amazing, like no pun intended. But the issue was the Disney buyout. So if you don't understand, 2009, Disney bought Marvel, and because things were changing with Sony and Marvel at the time with their deals with Spider-Man. Like they own the film rights to Spider-Man, and they own a ton of other rights to Spider-Man. But I think at that point they were gonna lose the merchandising rights, and I don't think Marvel was like, I think Marvel was going into a different era where back in the 80s and 90s when they were declining in popularity and declining in sales, they were very much eager to sell everything, all the rights they can to other companies just to make a quick buck. But now that they're going into that new era of like, we're going independent. We have the Marvel Studios. We're trying to be a much more bigger deal in the media field. They wanted everything back. They wanted to make as much things back. And one of the things was going to go after the buyout was the merchandising rights. So in order to keep that, I think Sony sold them back or traded them back the TV rights to Spider-Man to air a new TV show specific on Spider-Man. So Disney can always make a Spider-Man TV show, animation-wise. I mean, I think live action is going to go a little bit too crazy, but in animation, they could do it. But the problem is that you see that, okay, then Disney could just take over Spectacular. What's the issue? But the problem is Sony owns the rights, no matter what, to the originality of the characters they made. So, yes, the overall character of Spider-Man belongs to Marvel and now Disney, but that specific interpretation, like that exact beat by beat, is owned by Sony. And the amount of money and negotiations to even think about continuing that, that show just to like continue it going. Like for Disney, it is easier. Like, no, let's just start our own show. Let's just start fresh with Ultimate Spider-Man, like do our own take, and like everything we do is owned by us, so we don't have to go for an outside company just to make the show. And they were right. They were actually superbly right. And it's super freaking disappointing because, all you want to do is just see Spectacular Spider-Man again. I want to see that story go. And then I heard interviews after that where they talked about the season 3 plans. They talked about the overall franchise plans. Like, I want to see this content so freaking bad. They basically put out a blueprint for the next 7 years of Spectacular Spider-Man. And then it all ended. No, yes, Disney did help elevate Marvel Studios to the next level. It did elevate the franchise. I do get that. I understand that. But at the cost of Spectacular Spider-Man was just something like I still hold a little bit of gripe to. Like, there's been a whole movement earlier this year. I'm a little late on this, but like there was a movement with hashtag SaveSpectacularSpider-Man to kind of like entice the corporate beings at Sony and Disney to like, hey, can you make this work? Can we get this contract to go? Where even Josh Keenan, the voice actor, reached out and like he didn't offer any praise or any not praise. Let me scratch that. He didn't offer any sort of like hope that it is going to happen, but he did thank the fans for like, even after more than a decade off the air, there were still fans supporting the show, buying the DVD, because it's not on any streaming service. It's not even on Disney Plus. That's how freaking strict the business deal is, where Spectacular Spider-Man is a strictly owned Sony animated series property that can never be on any other platform unless Sony allows it, which is the same thing why Homecoming and Far From Home are not on Disney Plus, because that's fully Sony owned. So I'm hopeful that down the line something will happen, because if we can bring Young Justice back, if we can bring the Clone Wars back, there is a good enough chance. Hey, let's bring back the Spectacular Spider-Man. Let's make a deal where Disney and Sony are already on the field with the MCU stuff. I can easily see them going back and like, hey, is there a chance we can do Spectacular like for Disney Plus? You know, because Sony doesn't got their own platform, and it's like a very niche thing to put an animated series online now. I mean, sure, I know they have Spider-Man from Disney XD. I know that. But come on, you really think I'm going to entice? No, I just want to see this story continue. Like, they left it on such a freaking big-ass cliffhanger. And then you're going to say, well, Spider-Man Ultimate Unlimited left on a cliffhanger. Spider-Man, the new anime series, left on a cliffhanger. Like, I get that. But those were mediocre at best. This is like prime, my overall quick impression. This is the primest version of Spider-Man on the animated screen ever. It is the best. It is the quickest, shortest, and you're left wanting for more, and you are very disappointed that you can't. And I would love to talk about both of these seasons at some point in a spoiler length down the line. But until then, please, trying to, again, save Spectacular Spider-Man. Let's get the people out there to know, the higher-ups, like, we want the show to come back. Give us a third season. Give us another run. I want to see more of this story, please. I know even in my wildest dream we wouldn't get this for another 2 years, but, like, I'm willing to wait. I waited over a decade. I can wait a little bit more because I just want to see this story continue. And hopefully we will. The actors are still good. Hell, Josh Keaton was in the Spider-Man video game. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. So, you can go. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think about Spectacular Spider-Man? Do you love it as well as I do? Let me know in the comments. I'm always open to conversation below. You can find Spectacular Spider-Man on iTunes for money. You can buy them on DVD for money. They're not on streaming services because Sony doesn't like to make money or make any deals, any concessions about money. Sorry to be a dick about Sony, but I'm just saying the truth. But that's how you get support the official release. So I think that's going to do it for me tonight. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube, providing a quick impressions on the TV show I'm watching. Normally on this time slot on Friday mornings, we would be doing our Walker episode reviews. We're on a little bit of a hiatus. We'll be back in a couple weeks with that next episode review. We're also doing every Nancy Drew Season 2 episode reviewed, which comes out every Thursday mornings after a brand new episode on Wednesday nights on the CW or free the CW app and CW.com the next day. We're also doing the Rookie Season 3 episode reviews, where that posts every Monday morning after a brand new episode on Sunday nights on ABC and then on Hulu the next day. And but if you care about Spectacular Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure we will review the seasons at spoiler full length at some point in the future. So that will probably happen. But if you just like me in general, or just like me talking about random shows, then Quick Impressions just for you. We'll have a new one next week because Walker's still on hiatus. So I believe next week we're doing. It will either be Game of Thrones or Food Wars. I don't know which one. It's definitely both of them next week. I don't know which one's the specific order. It's just which one I get edited first, because both shows I'm doing is off the air next week. But until then, This has been What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube.com. Ring the bell for notification when our next episode is live, which generally speaking is every Monday, Thursday, and Friday mornings. Follow us on social media to be up to date on any sort of updates for the channel, as well as follow us on Twitch to be to watch us stream. Like, favorite, share. This is quick impressions if you want to. It does help us out there. Help us get us out there to other people. Help the algorithm of YouTube's the complicated algorithm to let other people notice us. And also, it's for free. And for everyone else, I hope you're doing well again. Be safe out there. Be good to each other. And hopefully I'll see you someday soon down the line. But until then, peace out.